Awesome. Welcome to the second place solution for English language learning for the feedback prize. Perpetual, I'll turn it to you.
Thanks, Maggie. Hi, I'm Perpetual. I'm a research director at the Learning Agency Lab. I'm excited for this presentation. I'll pass it to Alex.
I am Alex. I'm a data analyst at the Learning Agency Lab.
You can start recording. You will have to take yourself off of mute first.
Okay, maybe let's start. Okay. So here is my second solution for the feedback prize English learning. My name is Huige Chen. There will be a background, introduction and summary, and the training method and important findings, and I will introduce the symbol model. Okay, for the background, I'm currently a software developer at Microsoft, and I'm very interested in data mining. And thanks for Kaggle, I have been very lucky in the last year to win the gold on some recent NLP competitions, like feedback 1 and 2, and NBME, USPP, and AI code and feedback. Okay, something like this. For this competition, I only use BERT models, and it is an end-to-end model with tag inputs as below. So it is the targets and the text. I'm using the targets to modeling the interactions before the targets. For the training methods, so the training strategy is very simple. It's just 4 epochs with linear decay, and for the AWP training from the second epoch, and with the batch size of H. I will share the important and interest findings. First is the as I said before, I use targets relations. So simply put the targets in front of your text. You can get each label output to calculate the loss for each label. By doing this, I found it is a bit better than other pooling methods like using the CLS or using the mean pooling or attention pooling. I found that encode targets perform the best from my side. And another interest finding is to add the rank loss. Rank loss help improve the the minority targets. Why I add the rank loss? Because I when I did not add the rank loss, I found that the results will be dominated by the easy targets. Like for one instance, if there are most of the labels are very high, then your model will tend to predict for the other targets also very high. So the difference between the different targets is very small. In order to solve the problem, I try to add the rank loss, and I found that if I add the rank loss, it help improve the hard minority targets. And if you carefully tune the weights, I use 0.1. If using this weight, you can get better results, and especially for the hard targets. But there is a drawback that you can see that for the majority targets, the performance is a bit decreased. But since overall the performance improved, I use this method, and also it is a ensemble method. Whether you use rank loss or not use rank loss, they can ensemble to help you predict better. And I think that there are maybe better methods to use the rank loss. For example, maybe you could try to predict which instances might use the rank loss a bit more, and which instances might use rank loss a bit less. Okay, another important finding is the more knowledge, the better of your model. Because it is for this competition, it is a very it looks like a very simple problem, because it is only a multi-level classification problem, a regression or something like that problem. But in order to get good results, you have to try your best to inject more knowledge to this to your solution. And I found that many knowledge could help. First, the learning arguments effectiveness from the previous feedback. I mean, the feedback 2 dataset, it can help because there may be some relation between the effectiveness target in that data set and our current objects. And the second is learning more related vocabs from back translation data sets. I use a lot of back translation using the Google Translation API to get from like in English to Spanish and transback, and also maybe English to Chinese to Japanese, and translate it back as the training data. And I found that if you pre-train on the back translation the data sets, you can improve your score, especially as some of the targets is mostly the vocab target will improve a lot. That's I think that's reasonable, because you added the knowledge where the Google Translation have learned from many other covers and from their technology. And the third is learning more similar written patterns from feedback 1. I mean that's we have the feedback 1 dataset which contains similar written documents, but they have no labels. We can use personal labels to help our model to learn better, to get more knowledge from the feedback 1 dataset. And the latest one is the SVR method. I did not use this method, but due to the time issue. But I see that many top teams and use this method, and I think if you use this method, you can get better ensemble model, because it brings more pre-trained knowledge of different backbones, different pre-trained corpus maybe. Other than that, the with large. Okay, this is the I think the most important one to add more knowledge. And for the simple model, you can see that using procedure, you can achieve good results. With better tuning, it may be possible to get good model using simple model for 5-fold ensemble only. And below I listed the performance for my model. You can see that the rank loss always help, and you can see that if you add the translation back translation pre-train, or you add the feedback 2 pre-train, other things like the procedure always improve your model performance. Either the CV and the PB private score. And I think this context is very interesting. I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the game, but I did not get good rank, so I did not spend time on this competition for a long time during the middle of the game. And in the last 2 weeks, I returned back to the game, and I found that my CV and the CV for adding more knowledge, the CV improved, and I also found that the my public score also improved. Mostly they have good correlation. Though I did not got good position on the public score, but I think that maybe I could got a good position on the previous one. And finally, I'm and also very lucky to got the second place. Okay, that's the presentation from my part. And in case you have questions, I can. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. This was a really great presentation. I think I'm also hearing the slide echo, so maybe if you're able to, yeah, thank you so much. I think going back to slide 13, or the slide called the more knowledge, the better. I just had a couple of clarifying questions on a couple of techniques where you were using our previous data sets from Feedback Prize 1 and Feedback Prize 2. One, I wanted to clarify in terms of learning from the Feedback Prize 2 data set, which had the effectiveness labels. Did you use pseudo labels for that, or could you talk more about what that learning process was, taking information on the effectiveness ratings? Then my second question, I'm less familiar with back translation and machine translation, so I would love if you could go into a little bit more detail into how that worked when you were translating the different essays. Does that mean that there are multiple essays, multiple versions of the same essay that you're using in the training data, or like how does back translation fit in your model?
Oh, okay. For the the back the data set that like the feedback tool on the back translation. I'm using the very simple strategy. I mean that for example, if you for example for the feedback tool data set, I just use my previous feedback tool model, list-wise model, but I removed the information of the segment label. I think that's for each sentence, just to predict for its effectiveness. And I got the initial model, and when I train the this competition on this competition data, I just load the pre-trained model, which is trained on the feedback tool dataset. So I'm using this strategy. I think this is one strategy, very simple, and it is very effective and proved to be work on previous games. And for pseudo for back translation, for back translation I am for example, I translate all the data set the documents to the Chinese, and then translate back to English. I get one new data set. For example, if I translate it to Japanese and translate back, I get another data set. So for the Chinese one, I will using this data set to train at first step, just like the feedback tool data set, and then I will train on the I will train on our on the data set on this competition only, and with the initial weights load from the previous model. I'm using this strategy, and for each language based, maybe Chinese, Spanish, and Japanese, I will always train one model like this and to ensemble to get the results. And I found that for using this method, it improves the vocabulary, especially. So I will manually to train the weights for each targets, or to using something like opportunity to auto tune for these weights. I see that other competitors may be using better method to find the weights, but it's very important to notice that you need to tune for each target, because if you because for example the back translation, it adds some noise, so it hurt some the performance of some targets. Even though for vocabulary it helps a lot. For that's also very reasonable, I think. And for the procedure to using the feed1 background dataset, due to the limited time at the last moment, I just found one ensemble models, which is using the back translation feedback to dataset, and you are using rank loss or not using rank loss. Mostly deep V3 large models, and with a small with a bit deep V3 base models for this ensemble. I will get one prediction on the feedback one dataset. Then I will use this one to train one model. Or I will use this one and combine our our competition train data. But it is a long time. I forgot a bit of the details. Something like this, and it also helps for the final score. Procedure definitely will helps, but due to some time limitation, I did not it did not help my previous best score. Yeah. This is my answer. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. So I guess if I'm understanding correctly, then you're able to use previous models from feedback prize 1 and feedback prize 2 to help further train your model for this competition. And you were able to create labels using the models that were developed from the previous competition. Okay, that's very, very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have a question about, well, thank you, Alan, for the presentation, about the efficiency, or I guess efficiency of the model. So I know you mentioned you were looking at kind of a simple model, and that's something that is very helpful for us. Was there anything else that you found as you were working in the competition that would help, like a runtime of a model, or help with the efficiency? And if there's any kind of trade-offs between that and the accuracy?
Okay, to be honest, I did not spend some time spend my time on the efficiency track, and I think if take back that I should have spent more time on this competition, because it had many interesting things to try. I think that, but the public the leaderboard with too little test data, maybe at the first steps I did not find that my local improvement to help improve my rank on the public. So I did not spend my time during the middle of this game, and just at the last 2 weeks, I found that if I tried my best to use more data set, more data and more data and more knowledge, I could improve my score and also improve my CV score. So that I put my devote my time on improving my model performance. I mean, not efficiency. And I did not try the efficiency on the final thing. But if I think yeah. If you you mean efficiency is very important, maybe procedure is one very good way to be not the teacher model. So you can train the one small student model which can run infer relatively fast, and also have good performance.
Awesome. I personally, I don't have any other follow-up questions at the moment, but once again, thank you so much for the presentation.
Maybe one quick follow-up just about the kind of competition in general. Were there, I guess, what aspects of the competition would you say you liked or were helpful for you? And were there any that you think you'd like to see changed or improved if we do future competitions?
Personally, I think that I participated in many NLP natural language contexts of Kaggle, and I think that they are all very interesting and beneficial for myself, and I learned a lot from the training, from learning from other competitors and from their sharings. I think that they are all very interesting, and I'm satisfied with the competition, and I'm also currently competing on the learning track feedback 4. Yeah, yes, I think they are all very interesting games. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Yes. Okay, I'll
Not
go
from
ahead
mine.
and
Okay, I'll
Not
go
from
ahead
the
and
recording.
I'll do
Thank you
recording.
so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much and congratulations.